Hello, what up? It's John, your movie madman, and I'm back. Today is my next video in my Christopher Nolan series, so it's an exciting one for you today. Today we're going to be talking about Memento, Christopher Nolan's second feature-length released film. Some people think it's his first film because other people haven't heard of the film I talked about last week, but we're talking about Memento today. Memento is the famous film that is the confusing one. It's one of his confusing ones, especially timeline wise. So the film starts at the end and goes backwards, right, in colour, but at the same time there are alternate scenes that start at the beginning and go forwards in black and white. So that's confusing for you, and then it basically finishes in the middle, but the story and the mystery unravels as it goes on. So it's quite smart, actually. Smart man is Mr. Nolan. So you got colour scene, black and white scene, and then the next colour scene is the scene before the colour scene that you've just seen, and then the next black and white scene is the scene after the black and white scene that you've just seen, and then after that the next colour scene is the scene before that colour scene that you just saw, and black and white is after, before, after, all the way down to the end of the film. For those of you that don't know, Guy Pearce plays a man called Leonard who had an accident back in the day. As of the point of the timeline of the story, he had an accident in his past. He can't make new memories. The last thing he remembers is his wife being murdered, and he is trying to find out who has murdered her, basically. But because he can't make any new memories, he's got like a Polaroid camera, so he takes pictures, writes stuff down at the bottom so that he can remember things. He's also got tattoos on his body which are like clues to who murdered her and things like that. I don't really see the point of the tattoos, to be fair. Bit silly. I thought, what's the point? Like, just get a notebook, mate. You don't need tattoos. Just get a notebook and remember where it is. Keep it in your pocket. And then, because like when most people forget stuff, they're like, oh, is it in my pocket? Oh, there it is. Sorted. So he didn't really need to get tattoos. He probably could have just got a notebook. Visual perspective wise, this film is shot on film. It's not old. It's made in the year 2000, so it's not old. Carrie-Anne Moss is in it. If you guys remember Carrie-Anne Moss, she played Trinity in the Matrix trilogy. She's in it. Joe Pantoliano, the other bloke that's the main character in it that's got glasses, who's obviously, well, I say obviously, he's in the first Matrix as well. But yeah, I mean, those characters kind of realise Leonard's condition, start taking the piss out of Leonard, taking advantage of him, that sort of thing, working out that they can do things and get away with things and things like that. So it all gets explained as it goes along, which is, it's quite smart. You know, it's quite smart the way it's done, the way it's edited. I think I really enjoyed. It's one of the things I really enjoyed about this film was how it was edited. I love the black and white story that runs through, and then the colour story that runs backwards. I really liked that idea. It's a really good idea, because it kind of feels like you're watching two different films at the same time, and then you realise as the film's going along that the films are actually connected. Obviously, because it's the same film. It's one of Christopher Nolan's only 15 rated movies. He has 3. One of them is Following, one of them is this, and the other one is Insomnia, which is a video I will do later, not today. I'll do that. I'll do Insomnia another day. But yeah, I mean, it's 1080p Blu-ray. This is one of his only films. I think the first 3 films of his you can't get in 4K. Christopher Nolan's, that is. First 3 films of Christopher Nolan's you can't get in 4K. You can get this on Blu-ray, obviously, because I'm holding it. You can get Insomnia on Blu-ray if you get it imported, which is what I did. But I'll go into that in my Insomnia video. And you can't get Following on Blu-ray, you can only get that on DVD, so that's a bit rude, isn't it? Very rude, I thought. It's not an overly long movie, though. I mean, it's under 2 hours. It's one of Christopher Nolan's short films, considering most of Christopher Nolan's films push over that 2 hour and 15 minute barrier. I'd say most of Christopher Nolan's films do that. This one is 1 hour and 49 minutes long, so it doesn't even hit the 1 hour and 50 minute barrier. So there's also, interestingly, this is very interesting actually, you have no idea how interesting this next bit is. They've hidden a special feature on this disc, and I'm pretty sure you can look it up on YouTube or Google it, you can find it. It's called The Beginning of the End, and that basically starts at the beginning and plays out the whole film chronologically, which, to be fair, makes the film really boring. I don't know many people that have watched the chronological version of Memento and not found it boring, because it explains everything before it even happens. So that's probably one of the reasons why the way it being edited was worth it. But also what I found when I watched the chronological version is that I found it really boring, but also I found it looked like it was really badly edited. It's like they literally, when you watch the film, the scenes that go backwards, you see like a brief moment at the beginning, and when you see the next scene you see that brief moment at the end of the scene, so it like joins them together. But in the chronological version it repeats those bits, so you keep seeing the same bits over and over again, and it keeps repeating. Same with the black and white stuff going forward. I think it's very badly edited. If they wanted to make this really cool special feature of watching it in chronological order, they could have edited that a lot better. So I have no idea why they felt like they had to do it that way. There's also a really interesting bit at the beginning where throughout the credits you can see Guy Pearce's character looking at a Polaroid photo, and he like shakes it. Obviously when you take a Polaroid picture, you take the picture out and you shake it, and when you watch the film it's going backwards, so the picture starts off with a clear image, then he shakes it and the image disappears a little bit, and then he shakes it again and the image disappears a little bit, and then the Polaroid goes back into the camera. It feels a little bit like watching Tenet, to be fair. You can see that, you know, same person made both films. You can definitely see that in Memento. A lot of people said that when they watched Tenet was a bit like Memento meets Inception, although a lot of people said Tenet was a sequel to Inception, so you clearly don't know what you're talking about, because Tenet's nothing to do with Inception whatsoever, apart from the fact that there's spies in it. Good one, because that makes it similar. But all in all, this is a very good film, especially if you watch the actual version. Don't watch the chronological version, watch the actual version, because it's a lot better. Alright, there's the back cover. I don't know if I'd shown you that, in case you wanted to see the back cover. Boom. This is probably his most adult film, with a possible exception of Insomnia. This is probably his most adult movie. Strongest language, I think, is in this film. Strongest violence, I think, is probably in this film as well. Insomnia might be a little bit more violent. I don't know. I'm going to rewatch Insomnia before I do the review for that. But yeah, I mean, that's Memento for you. Really interesting review for you there. I thought you'd be really excited to see that. That's it for today. I've reached 67 subscribers now, so getting close to that 69. I might actually have to make that video soon, so that's going to be interesting. But that's it from me for today. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be so nice. You have no idea how much that would touch my heart. So please get on it. I'd appreciate it so much. But I'm going to go now. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Alright. Goodbye.